Hey, good morning to you all. It's Goose here. Welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and myself. Pretty pumped up, a lot on the radar, guys. Getting real excited as earnings season is winding down. You got all these little low floaters flying around. It's pretty fun. Hope you guys checked us out at stocktraders.net. We're a leading online trading community. We got free trading rooms. We got all kinds of widgets. Incredible community. Everybody's very helpful there. Please come check us out. At least sign up for the free section of the trading room there. The trading floor, and you guys could send us any type of messages. Any of the instructors are always happy to help. The guys in the room are always happy to help. It's a super community. Hopefully you guys have checked us out at stocktraders.net. Just want to remind you guys, anything that we're covering in these broadcasts, not a solicitation. We're not trying to tell you what to do. All we're doing is giving you a few different ideas, long-term, short-term, whatever our thoughts are of the day. And that's it. And we try to keep it to just a couple ideas or a few ideas each and a little bit of a different perspective. So I know we have a lot on the radar. Ricky's got a couple really good ones I'm excited to hear about. So just make sure you read the disclaimer and below in the description area. And I'm going to turn it over to Ricky and see what he's got. And looking forward to hear what you got to say, Ricky.
Thanks a lot, Goose. As always, good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us here at Stock Talk. This is Ricky Analog. Hope you all are ready for an amazing day as lots of low floats are popping up. But before we get into it, if you guys could please do us a favor and share this broadcast, give it a thumbs up, spread the word. We're always looking to grow this community. So first thing on the list today, guys, is PTI. They're gapped up on FDA breakthrough therapy designation, and I'm pretty sure that most of Twitter is calling this the short du jour. But let's look at a few key things from a rational perspective. Do they need cash? No, not at all. They raised $40 million back in December. So what is their share structure? Well, I can tell you the float is probably close to 10 million. And hopefully by now I've convinced most of our listeners to not trust FinViz numbers. If you want to know the exact share structure as well as the insider and institutional holding levels, I shared them this morning over at stocktraders.net in the chat. It's there free for everyone. As far as the technical levels go, not much going to hold it down if it can get over 7. If it opens strong, I would not want to chase it. I'd wait for a wash to hopefully around the 550 area and then look for it to turn. Now, even though I'm extremely cautious of shorting this, if it extends the levels that get silly, I'm going to look for a short setup and at least try to take it back to the 5-minute 20. But just respect the fact that this does not have to be a short today. We were already joking about it in the chat. It's up too much theory. Just remember that there's really no such thing as up too much. Just wait for the backside if you have to play this as a short. Hopefully by now you guys have realized that just based on a percentage gap or being up intraday a certain amount, certain stocks will give most of the move back and other stocks just don't. And some stocks have multi-day moves, and there's reasons behind that. You can't just go based off the percentages, guys. So the next thing on the list today is SPEX. It's a 6 million float, low price piece of garbage, but you have to respect the price action. This thing's gapping up substantially, and you can see that this gap, well, it was when it was over 2, it was covering levels dating all the way back to last July. They have an active shelf and no money, so this move is most likely in order to do some sort of financing. Their current MVPHS is around 8.5 million, meaning they could only raise about 2.8 million from the current shelf. But if they can get a strong close up above $2, then they're going to be able to raise over 4 million from that same shelf. So it's hard to tell exactly which route they intend to try for, but the end game is most likely some form of dilution. It's hard to acquire a company when you have no money. They also have hardly any institutional holdings coupled with tons of current litigation they're going through. It's not exactly a rosy outlook for them. The last thing on my list today, guys, is BXC. Now, they closed up huge yesterday on news they're buying Cedar Creek. It's basically a vertical integration acquisition for them. However, the move is a bit extended. It traded at over 10 times ATR yesterday and is now gapping up slightly on pretty low volume. But the float on this is tiny. The OS is around 9 million shares, and BTIG owns about 3.8 million of that. It's funny enough that they just acquired that back in October for $7 a share. So they're up nice on that. And if you look into the details, it's actually hard to see how this wasn't flagged as insider trading, considering the parties that were involved in the deal. However, that's not really important right now. All that matters is price action. The ticker traded with some nasty spreads yesterday, so it's important to understand how to size properly on these scenarios. You can't just go in full size on something like this. You got to use smart risk management. I would like to see a nice opening push on this and then a lower high to get an entry and have something to base my risk off of. But I think this thing could have a substantial fade today. That being said, I will not fight this thing if it wants to play games. You need to always respect the fact that something with a float this small can move on almost nothing. So that's everything I'm watching this morning, guys. I mean, there's a few other small ones, but they're on side charts. I'm going to give it back over to my man, Goose. I want to hear what he's watching. Take it away, buddy.
Hey, thanks a lot, and really great job on those. And just to touch base also on PTI, it's really smart what you're talking about. It's also easy to borrow, I think, in a few places. So just be careful. It's going to be a very crowded short, in my opinion, and I think you're spot on with that, Ricky. Thanks a lot. Really great job with that. So let me just jump right in. Today, what I decided to do is do it a little bit slower, a few slower names, maybe bigger picture ideas. And I want to start off with this one's really, really light volume. It's obviously had a giant move in the past, but with all these other ones picking up and the neats and all that, I went back and cycled through a couple charts and looked at them, and I wanted to bring them to your attention, a few names that I'm looking at. One of them is going to be RENN. And what I'm looking at here is it's coming off the 200-day. You see that it held right over in this area at the 850. It's kind of reclaimed the 20-day recently, and you can see it's above the 200. And I'm looking for a breakout of this pivot area, 975, which obviously we got to see what it does at 10, but I still think it's going to push right through, and I'm hoping for it to actually reclaim the 50 with everything going on with these lower price ones. So this is definitely on my radar, and when they're light volume, it's all about entry, risk reward and things like that. I feel you got really defined risk reward, 870 or something like that. That's what I'm looking for if I scoop some up down in here. I'm not sure I'm going to get it down to low nines, but even if I got it in the 940 area, 930 area, I still really like the risk reward for one of the, this hitting the radar and picking up. So RENN is something I'm looking at, a little bit more bigger picture idea, not thinking it's going to, pop today, or, I mean, you never know. You see these names popping up from nowhere, but it's something that I do like the chart on. I'm going to skip over to GCAP, another one, same idea. Looking at the big picture idea. And if you go back and you look in November, you see, again, it's kind of holding the same area. It had that one dip all the way through, reclaimed the 200. You can see that the 20 days now turned a little bit here, coming off of the 200. So my initial thought on this is going to be, anywhere around the 20-day, 690 area is a risk, maybe a little bit below 680. Initially, what I want to see is a pushback up in this 50-day area, and I'm looking for it to reclaim it and maybe make a next leg up into this $8.50 to $9 area. So I like the risk reward on a couple of these bigger picture ideas, and that's why I want to throw them at you. This one has a little bit more volume in it. Traded almost $1 million yesterday, than the RENN, but just another thought. This was brought up a few days ago by one of our members, and I was talking to him about it, and I was kind of not sure I was ready for Kodak yet, but I want to bring it to your attention. It's kind of holding a level, and again, looking at the big picture and how these things have been lighting up, and I know, down here it kind of looked very similar. If you see, had a big dip, kind of held and then made a big push all of a sudden. And I'm kind of seeing the same action. And I'm not saying this, I feel like this is going back up to, $7.50 or $8 or anything like that. But with the action in these names and now sitting there holding this 480 level, I'm looking for an entry down in this 510 to 530 area, somewhere in there. An initial push up towards 6, the 20-day, and then up towards the 50-day here. But I like the way, Kodak's been setting up. We talked about it, I think it was yesterday or Friday, a possible opportunity off 5. It made a big pop up at one point yesterday, as you can see, up into the 550 area. I don't want to chase it because of the, what's left on the meat on the bone type theory. So just want to be careful with that. I'm going to throw a little bonus at you guys and just talk about Micron real quick. And just a quick thought on Micron, is I like these candles, okay? This candle that you had yesterday, big candle. As you can see, and today it's opening up $3. When I start seeing those candles start stacking up like that, I'm not suggesting that today's the day it's over. We got an 80 RSI, but I'll be looking for a lower high on this thing for a reversal. And if it does want to have that give up day, whether it's today or tomorrow, whenever it's going to be, it could give a few points. So it's definitely on my radar. And the reason I'm bringing it to you, I love these double candles here. You know, it's going to open up with another $2 or $3 this morning. It's up 250 right now. I would love to see a push. It's already up towards that 62 area to say I'd like to see a push up to 62. Let's see how extended it gets this morning. I'll be looking for a lower high on that one to maybe fade it back. And just remember, if you're going to trade these things, in my opinion, when they get super extended like that and you get that big 1 hour candle, don't be shy to look for, make sure there's enough room between that high and the VWAP. There's enough meat there because it's going to go down. It's going to test the VWAP, a consolidation area and the average price, and then maybe make another little bounce back up. So make sure there's enough meat there, not like 20 cents or 30 cents, because that's going to be a support area. So, you know, keep an eye on that as well when you're factoring it in. In my opinion, you got to look at that always. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Hope you guys have an awesome day today. Thanks for always checking us out every morning at 9:05. Please spread the word. We're really trying to do a great job here. And we really want to, you know, build our viewers for Stock Talk, build our community over at stocktraders.net. And I hope you guys continue to check us out. So thank you very much, guys. I'll turn it back over to you, Ricky.
Thanks, Goose. Amazing as always. Guys, make sure you have a plan before you take any trades. No plan, you have no trade. Stay safe out there. And as always, let's crush it. Peace.